Okay, Shri, I think the others aren't available today. We'll just take up a quick session on the next topic, which is networking fundamentals. Okay, so this is actually one of the prerequisites included for the cybersecurity course, understanding what networking is, what networks are, what IP addresses are, what categories of IP addresses exist, and what are some important networking protocols, such as DHCP, DNS, okay, again, transmission protocols like TCP, UDP, etc., etc. Okay, so again, understanding these concepts is quite fundamental and quite mandatory for cybersecurity, and therefore, again, I've included this as a necessary prerequisite. Okay, so when you talk about networking fundamentals, there are three important definitions to know. What is networking? What are networks? And what are hosts? So when you talk about networking in an organization, you have multiple sort of endpoints. You have routers, switches, computers, laptops, servers, IP cameras, mobile phones, printers, whatnot. Okay, so the concept of connecting these information systems with each other so that they can share resources or share information or data is called as networking. Now you can either connect them in a wired medium or a wireless medium, whichever they are compatible with. But the process of establishing connection among all of these devices itself is called as networking. Okay. And that collective group of those devices is called as a network. So a network is a collection of these interconnected devices that can transmit data to each other. Okay. And when you talk about hosts, hosts are basically referred to as the devices. So each individual device there, apologies about that. So each individual system in the network is called as a host. Again, as given, the examples already: computers, printers, routers, mobile phones, etc., etc. All of these devices individually are known as hosts. Okay. Now, just like how we humans communicate with each other and we basically again address each other with our respective names, these devices also have names, and those names are called as IP addresses. Okay, so that naming convention is called IP addressing, and it stands for Internet Protocol Addressing. Okay, and to define an IP address, each host on the network has a unique identifier, and that unique identifier allows for communication to occur between these devices, and that identifier itself is called as an IP address. And this was invented by the US military, if I'm not wrong, in the late 1950s or so. And there were multiple experimental versions of it. There was IP version 1, IP version 2, IP version 3, etc., etc. What successfully worked out was IPv4, Internet Protocol version 4, and it's still using IPv4 in today's world. Firstly, there's a few important properties about IPv4 addresses. Okay, it's a 32-bit address. What I mean by a 32-bit address is that it contains 32 zeros or ones in it. Okay, a bit is the smallest data value a computer can hold, or any information system for that matter. And again, it could either be the value zero or it could be the value of one. Okay, and your IPv4 address consists of 32 zeros and ones this way. Okay, so there are 32 zeros and ones combined together, and this entire 32-bit address again is divided in four equal parts, where each portion contains 8 bits in it, and each of that 8-bit portion is known as an octet. Octa represents 8. Okay, and each octet again is separated by a dot symbol. Okay, so this is what your typical IPv4 address would look like in the language of zeros and ones, and this is very commonly known as the binary language. Okay, and computers communicate primarily in binary numbers itself. Okay, so what you see here is an IPv4 address in binary language. There are 8 bits here: 11000000. As you can see, 8 bits, then a dot, then another 8 bits, then a dot, then another 8 bits, then a dot, and then another 8 bits. That is a total of 32 bits in total. Okay. But what we humans regularly use on our day-to-day basis are decimal numbers, numbers from 0 to 9. So now we'll be learning how do you convert a binary number, a computer readable number, into a human readable number, a decimal number. So this number 11000000 is actually equal to 192. This number 10101000 is actually equal to 168. This number, all zeros, is simply zero. And this number 00001010 is actually equal to 10. Okay, so I'm going to now show you how do you convert any computer readable number or binary number into the decimal number system. Okay, human readable format. Okay, so let's get into that. But before that, any questions or doubts up to this point?
No, I got it.
Right. Now, to convert any binary number into a human readable decimal number, there are two simple rules for this. So let's say we have this number here, 10101010. Okay, 8 bits in total. And if you have to convert this number now, rule number one is you write down the values of 2 power 0 all the way up to 2 power 7 from right to left. So under the rightmost bit, you have 2 power 0, then 2 power 1, then 2 power 2, then 2 power 3, then 2 power 4, then 2 power 5, then 2 power 6, and then 2 power 7. So from right to left, you're assigning the power of 2 from 2 power 0 all the way up to 2 power 7 till the last bit. Okay. Now, once these values have been assigned here, all you have to do is multiply the lower number with the top bit and add it to the next one. So 2 power 0 into 0 plus 2 power 1 into 1 plus 2 power 2 into 0 plus 2 power 3 into 1 plus 2 power 4 into 0 plus 2 power 5 into 1 plus 2 power 6 into 0 plus 2 power 7 into 1. So no matter what the bit is on the top, irrespective of that, you multiply the lower number with the top bit and add it till the last number. Okay. So to perform this calculation, we need to know the values of these numbers first. So anything to the power of 0 is always equal to 1. It's a mathematical rule. So 2 power 0 is also equal to 1. 2 power 1 is 2 itself. 2 power 2 is 4. 2 power 3 is 8. 2 power 4 is 16. 2 power 5 is 32. 2 power 6 is 64. And 2 power 7 is 128. Okay. So now that we have these values here, we can start substituting them over here. 2 power 0 into 0. 2 power 0 is 1, so 1 into 0, simply 0. Plus 2 power 1 into 1. 2 power 1 is 2, so 2 into 1, that's 2. 2 power 2 into 0, 0 again. 2 power 3 into 1, that's 8. 2 power 4 into 0, 0 again. 2 power 5 into 1, 32. 2 power 6 into 0, 0 again. 2 power 7 into 1, 128. So if I add all this up, 128 plus 32, that's 160. 160 plus 8, 168. 168 plus 2, 170. So this number here, 10101010 in computer readable language is actually equal to 170 in human readable language. Okay. So that is how you convert a binary number into a human readable decimal number. Okay. Let's try two other examples. Okay. So this is clear. I have two more numbers here, 0101010 and all ones. Okay. So same logic, wherever you, again, all you have to do is write down the values from 2 power 0 all the way up to 2 power 7, multiply the lower number with the top bit. Okay, so 2 power 0 into 1, that's simply 1, plus 2 power 1 into 0, that's 0, 2 power 2 into 1, that's 4, 2 power 3 into 0, 0, 2 power 4 into 1, that's 16, 2 power 5 into 0, 0 again, 2 power 6 into 1 is 64, and 2 power 7 into 0 is 0. So if you add all this up, 64 plus 16, that's 80. 80 plus 4, 84. 84 plus 1, that's 85. Okay. Now, finally, when you have all ones, as you can see, you just have to add all the numbers. 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. And if you add all these numbers, you get the number 255. Okay. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 8 is 15. 15 plus 16, that's 31. 31 plus 32, that's oh, no, sorry. I think somewhere I went wrong. But yeah. And again, 128 plus 64, I think that is 192. 192 plus 32, 224. 224 plus 16, 240. 240 plus 8, 248. 248 plus 4, 252. 252 plus 2, 254. 254 plus 1, 255. That's the way. So now the reason I'm explaining all of these calculations is again, we won't be converting these numbers in real time anywhere, but this conversion now gives you a very important question answered, which is what is the range of IP addresses? So if I have to get the first IP, all I have to do is put zeros everywhere. So the first IP can be obtained by putting all zeros in the first octet, second octet, third octet, and fourth octet. So when you convert that from binary to decimal, you get the first IP as simply 0.0.0.0 in decimal. And if I have to get the last IP, how do I get the maximum number? By putting all ones. And when we put all ones, we get the number 255. So last IP is 255.255.255.255. That's the last IP. And if I have to calculate how many IPs are there in total, each bit here has two possibilities. And this is a total of 32 bits here, right? So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 32 times. Those are the total number of possibilities of IP addresses. So that would be 2 raised to the power of 32. And that is closely equal to 4.3 billion IP addresses. So back then, when this IPv4 concept was invented, 4.3 billion IPs did seem like a very large number, and that is in 1950s or so. But fast forward to 2026, the population itself is 9 billion people, and each person on an average can have multiple devices, at least two or more. So in such a case, 4.3 billion IPs would never have sufficed. Okay. So again, that is why these IPs are again categorized in different types. There's something called as public IPs, there's something called as private IPs. And again, there's another range of IPs which is called IPv6 addresses, which is much more longer. That's a 128-bit address, whereas IPv4 is just 32 bits. Yeah. So it's four times the length. IPv6 is four times the length compared to IPv4. Okay. But yeah, again, rather than going to IPv6, even these 4.3 billion IPs are still sufficient today with the concept of public and private IPs. Okay, so we'll cover all that in the next class. We'll talk about what the sequence of IPs are, what are the categories of IPs, what are classes, what are public IPs, what are private IPs, and then the classification of them. We'll cover all this in the next session once all the other students are available as well. Shri. Okay, just a brief intro. Since we have joined the session today, we have covered what, again, basic IP addressing is, what are IPv4 addresses, and what are the properties of an IPv4 address. Okay. So I have some other personal students, again, from my references who will be joining the session tomorrow or from Monday because they already registered. So no worries, we'll take up a much more full-fledged session tomorrow instead. Okay. So nothing further. Any questions or doubts, Sri, up to this point?
No, that will be it. And I also have a personal question,
Yep.
but I think the class is being recorded, right?
Oh yeah, this is being recorded. I don't think I have the option to stop the recording as well. Although, if you have any such queries, I think you can contact me on my email, which is cybersec.shoaib.
Can you like drop it in the chat?
I think that will be recorded as well. Shri, I'm not supposed
Oh,
to share those details, but yeah, cybersec, 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 and Shoaib, SHOAIB, at the rate Gmail.
okay.
Right. So you can drop a question there, and I'll answer the question.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Nothing further. We'll connect back tomorrow for the next session. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good day.